Hello everyone, welcome to Hybrid Budgets. This video is my June debt update. It's also how I have potentially messed up here and have made it so I am paying an additional £1,000 towards my debt. So if you're intrigued on how I've done that, please watch along. Also please like and subscribe, it really does help make a difference. And yeah, basically the way I do my videos is I budget monthly, so I do like a monthly budget update and a monthly debt update, and then also maybe do a little video on how I'm getting on with savings challenges, so hopefully there's a bit for everyone. So this is my debt to pay down matrix. I've done a previous video on this, apologies, it is very long, so the first half of the video is me going through my debt, where it's up to, goal end dates, interest rates, etc. And then the second half of the video is going through this specific Excel and how it works. So if you do want more detail, I do suggest watching that video because it goes into a bit more detail than I'm probably going to go through today. So if you find this video interesting, I do recommend watching the other one. Just as a bit of a cliff notes, the way I do my debt is I have my various credit cards going down this way and the months going across this way, and on each month I basically detail what the value of my credit is. So the balance on the card, any interest accrued that month, any additional payments or any payments I'm paying into that debt. This then gets summarised at the end, so this is the amount I'm paying towards debt that month. And then what this is a difference, so it's a bit of a balancing tool I use to basically say, okay, do I have any extra money I can pay towards debt? Or am I over budget in terms of debt? You know, if it goes into the negative, for instance, it's obviously saying I need to reduce what I'm paying towards debt. And this is worked out to these things on the right. So I'll briefly go through June so it makes a bit more sense. So my take-home pay in June was £3,200, which was a lot more than expected. I think it was basically I hadn't adjusted my pension payment at that point, so I had quite a bit more money coming in because I put quite a bit towards my pension. And then expenses as well, I had a whopping £1,200, so this is the last of the expenses because I used to work away. So they pay for accommodation when I worked away, and because this was the last month I had worked away, that sort of money came in. Luckily I'd paid a lot of those expenses off in my Monzo Flex payment, so actually this was like not free money, but it was money that I could completely fully allocate to debt, so that was great. I also had £513 carryover from last month. I say carryover, it was specifically allocated for some of my credit card payments. So then my fixed payments come to £356 a month. That excludes mortgage, so my mortgage actually comes out in this chart here. So that's everything else, like my utility payments. Then my variable, this was my credit card payments for this month. So it was the last payment of my Flex account. It was the last payment, it was an unexpected payment of a Halifax account, and then it was also my work expenses. So yeah, that one was quite large. Going forward, it's going to be pretty standard at 360 because I'm only putting in my daily travel and parking in it, so I can pretty much budget that month by month. Other variable, so that's things like me putting money into my shared account, and also things like sinking funds and stuff like that. So that was £1,207 that month, which left £2,314 to play with on debt. So I balanced that out. So obviously this is what my debt came to and what I could spend, and it's basically saying, yep, you're in the clear by 6p. So pretty much balanced it out. Went quite well. So in May I had an extra £500 that I could put towards debt, annoyingly, because it was towards the end of the month, because I usually like to work out obviously at the end of the month what have I got left, I can put it towards debt. Because of that, it actually didn't come out in May, it came out in June, so it's not specifically shown here. So where that £500 went was actually to my MBNA 2 card, and I managed to pay that off. So that did accrue some interest last month because that one's at 5.9%, so that was £3.88 interest came on. So in total that costed £803.72, but that means that card is now fully wiped, which is really good, so no more interest earned on that one. Then the rest of the money, which is the additional £1,000, went onto this card. So basically it was, sorry, I'm realising my mouse is not clicking. My computer's paused, but to be fair, it shows what it needs it to show, so that's fine. Where was I? So £500 paid off my MBNA 2. The additional £1,000 went towards paying the rest of that off that. So that credit card specifically. So that was a money transfer. And that'll be very important later when I go through the Tesco drama. So that money transfer, which is MBNA 2, is completely paid off now, and that had a fee of 5.9% attached to it. So that was my first priority because I was being charged monthly for that, whereas all my other ones are sorry, I thought it wasn't recording then. I was like, are you kidding me? All my other ones are 0% balance transfers. So my MBNA 1 is a balance transfer. That was 0%, so you can see it's not charged me any interest per month until August. So hence why that was my second priority, because I wanted to get that down. So that £1,000, I would show you in the cell if it would allow me to click on it, but that's the £1,000 additional I could pay towards it. It was the £500, so it's like basically the £1,500 because it was £500 for this month, the £1,000 I put towards it, and then it was an additional £394 to basically balance the books here. So this came out originally higher, so it was saying, oh, you can put some money towards your debt. So it was reading like £394.6p, so I put an additional £394 on. So I've done really well this month on the MBNA front, completely wiped that one card, and this other card is really going to get knocked down by next month. In fact, it's only going to have £831, which I'm really chuffed with. Next month I've forecasted that it should be reasonably accurate. So what I've forecasted next month is I'm going to have my salary come in. So like I said, this has gone down quite significantly because I'm putting quite a lot more towards my pension. So it's £2,500. I'm expecting to get about £320 in expenses back. My fixed expenses are fixed, so they should remain at £356. My variable, because I'm only paying now for things like parking and fuel, I can be pretty accurate on my variable credit card now, because what I do is try and budget everything else in separate pots, because this is the issue I was having before. I'm a bit gung-ho on the credit card. Other variables, so it's quite tight, so 490, and that goes to things like our joint account for food, eating out, hair, beauty, health as well, because we do have a PT, things like that. So that's £490 for that month, and that leaves £1,614 I can pay towards debt. Currently, with just the fixed payments, so these are the minimum payments, you can see here for Tesco 1, I pay £50 a month, Tesco 2, 30, Virgin Pink 65, and then my mortgage payments also come out as this because I obviously deem them as debt. So I've managed to balance that out here by basically saying in this one, which is my first priority, I can pay £694 towards that one. So it's quite annoying because I couldn't quite finish paying off, but I just won't have the expenses next month, so it will unfortunately have to run into the next month, which does mean it does accrue the interest. So this is when this balance transfer period ends. So as you can see here, it will then start charging me 27.21%. So therefore it works out as about £3 interest, which isn't too painful. I mean, it's annoying I couldn't wipe it off before, but I think I can live with the £3. And then that means the month after I've only got £140.44 to pay that off fully. Right, and this is where I made the cock up. So Tesco emailed me and said, FYI, your money transfer balance ends this month. So as of this month, you're going to start paying 28.4%. And as you can imagine, I was absolutely speechless. I was like, what? Like, I haven't got this down to finish until, October time, I think it was, for the Tesco 1. And then it was July the next year for Tesco 2. So I was actually like, how have I got my dates so wrong? Like, how is it in June? So I rang them up, and to be fair, they were really good on the phone. It didn't take too long to call them, and as soon as you give your, obviously, security information, they went through and checked and could get me the exact dates. And I did sort of say to them then, like, there's nowhere on my statement that says when this promotional offer ends. It's like, even when I was setting this up and in my previous video, I was saying, well, I think I got the card in this month and I think it was a 22-month balance transfer, so I'm going to put that down. And, you know, there's nowhere on the statement that says it, whereas all the other ones are really clear. They're like, okay, you're paying 0% until this date, and then at this date you pay 20%, so it's really clear. Anyway, it wasn't... So I got to the bottom of it, they said, oh no, don't worry, that's a money transfer on this card. You've got a balance transfer, so you don't, that's not expired yet. And I was like, fabulous. Anyway, got the proper dates come through. And actually, whereas I thought this one was an October Tesco one, it's actually August, so it's in line with the MBNA. And if I'd known that, I probably would have swapped how I was paying it. I say that, I probably wouldn't, because if it's at a point where it's to avalanche or to snowball, avalanche goes from your highest percentage to your lowest in percentage, and then snowball goes from your smallest debt to your highest debt. So I think I probably still would have, you know, if these two were coming in at the same time, I probably would have snowballed it and started with my smallest first and then built up to my bigger one. So I probably wouldn't have changed much. But what it did mean is, and I'm not sure if you can see here, you can't, because I don't know why it's not focusing right. Sorry if this video is a bit clunky, it's just I had to restart again. Just because it was annoying me that I couldn't click on a cell. So in August 24, my Tesco one would have started to accrue, and again, it annoys me why I can't see it, 28.94%, which essentially with the amount I owe would have worked out as £108.94 per month, and 110 the next month, because my minimum payment is £50, so it would have gone up, obviously. In fact, I think my minimum payment would have gone up as well. So I looked at that and thought, well, hang on, that's like about £100 a month, probably for like 10 months or so, for however long I would have had that balance. So this is where I'm getting that extra grand from. So I'm just annoyed at myself because, again, it's sort of come out the blue a bit. I'm annoyed at myself, I'm annoyed at Tesco, but then I'm like, why am I hating on the world? I just need to face the music and sort it out, which hopefully I have. So you'll see I've put a bit of a note on here, 3.5% fee. So what that is I looked at the various balance transfers I could do. So I'm just trying to stick that up so you can see it. So bear in mind the amount I've got on my credit card is £4,525. 3.5% fee would cost me £158, but that gives me 28 months. So I worked that out, that's about £168 per month, ideally, to get it all paid off. Whereas if I did the 1.5% fee, it would have only cost me £67.88, but I would have had to have allowed £383 per month. But it would have meant potentially I could have paid it off in 12 months. So I was umming and ahhing. Part of me's like, oh, if I do the 12-month one, it will like really force me to pay it off. But looking at my salary, looking at the expenses, to guarantee that I've got an extra £300 a month is a lot. Like, I'm hoping I can and do it with my budget, but I didn't want to completely overstretch myself. Whereas at least with the £160, I can obviously overpay on that if I need to, and realistically I'm going to have to, because again, now I've swapped this promotional offer, this is probably going to be one of my latter priority ones. And if I'm only paying £50 a month off until it becomes my main priority, you see what I mean? So it won't necessarily be £160 a month. But what I'm hoping is, obviously, once this one's gone down, you know, I was paying 140 to this one, plus 50, it would be like 190 when it starts to avalanche. So I've gone with the 3.5% fee, is basically what I'm trying to say. So rather than my interest payment calculation here, what I've done is I've said it's this amount that will be left on the card, multiply it by 3.5%, and that's what it's going to cost me to transfer that balance. Which means that from August, this will actually be 0%. So I'm just going to change those now, and you can see that it will drop then. So I won't be paying £108 a month. I'll be paying nothing in interest, which is really good. So it's definitely worth doing the balance transfer. I think I was just upset with myself because the reason I've got into this position is because of balance transfers. I've just taken, you know, I've accrued money on a credit card and then just done a balance transfer to, you know, move it and not pay any interest on it. which is ridiculous because I pay a fee on it. So I'm, it's costing me to do it, but it's definitely a better way than just paying the APR on the credit card. So I am and ah with them. It's a slippery slope. Like if you're having to do it every month, which at one point I was having to, it's obviously not great. Whereas if it's okay, you've got a one-off payment, and rather than keeping £4,000 on a credit card, you're saying you're going to pay it off monthly, it seems like a very sensible thing, and it saves a lot of money, which is hopefully where I'm at now. But yeah, it just felt like a bit of a step back. But anyway, I digress. So these can now luckily all be 0%. And so I imagine the minimum payment will stay the same. This does mean, however, I will not be referring to it as Tesco One. It will be another Virgin card because that's who I got the offer from. I think it was a white card, so I'll call it Virgin White as opposed to my Virgin Pink card, just so I don't confuse them. And priority-wise, it pretty much, I think, will stay the same. So this was my first priority, that one's done. This is my second priority, that'll get done sort of next month. Third priority is Tesco 2, and then this will probably just change to my fifth priority as opposed to my fourth priority. The Virgin Pink, again, the balance on it is a lot, and I think when the promotional offer ends, I won't have even made a dent too much in it. So I think I said on my previous video I'm going to have to do a balance transfer for that one as well. So again, annoying, but it does mean that the actual money I'm paying towards the debt is getting it down. But yeah, I hope that all makes sense. And hopefully it was clear enough, because I don't know why, it just really wasn't zooming in or focusing right. So anyway, apologies again, it's going to probably be quite a long video, but I thought it would be clear, and also to see any shortfallings I had. So hopefully you guys don't have any of the same, but I hope that's clear to you guys, and I hope you guys have good job, happy budgeting for the rest of the month. See you all, bye.